Ever feel like your web projects are like bursting at the seams?
Yep.
Like they need more space?
Yeah.
Like they're ready to graduate from that shared server?
Yeah.
That's kind of where VPS comes in virtual private servers.
Right.
We're diving into some material from OVH Cloud,
Okay.
a global cloud provider, to
Yeah.
really break down VPS and see if it's the right fit for you.
Yeah. And that's what's so fascinating about VPS. It bridges that gap between shared hosting
Yeah.
and like owning a whole dedicated server.
Right.
So think of it like this. Shared hosting is like you're splitting rent on a flat with roommates.
Yep.
It works, but you're all sharing the same Wi-Fi, same kind of limited space.
Yeah.
VPS is like getting your own place.
Okay, I see where you're going with this, like having your own dedicated resources, more control over your environment. But what does that mean practically? I'm picturing someone who's maybe gotten their feet wet with shared hosting, build a website or two. Why is VPS that next logical step up?
You hit the nail on the head. It's all about control and resources. With VPS, you're not sharing your server's CPU, RAM, or bandwidth with anyone else. It's all yours,
Okay.
which means better performance, faster loading times, and the ability to handle higher traffic spikes without your site crashing.
That makes sense, especially like in the middle of the night when everyone's trying to download the latest game update or your big sale launches, and suddenly you've got thousands of eager shoppers on your site. So if someone's site is lagging or they're worried about handling those traffic surges, that's a sign they might need to consider VPS.
Absolutely. It offers a level of reliability and stability that's crucial for businesses and projects that are starting to see some real growth. And that's another key benefit of OVH Cloud's VPS offering, scalability.
Okay.
Let's say your website suddenly goes viral.
Right.
With OVH Cloud's scalable VPS, you can effortlessly handle the traffic surge, avoid those dreaded crashes, and keep those customers happy.
That's huge. No more panicking about your site going down at the worst possible moment. But OVH Cloud mentioned something interesting here, the idea of data sovereignty, specifically highlighting the advantages of hosting your VPS in the UK. What's the significance of that, particularly for UK users?
So data sovereignty is becoming increasingly important, especially with, growing concerns about data privacy.
Right.
By choosing to host your VPS in the UK with OVH Cloud, your data is subject to UK data protection laws, and it avoids potential complications from things like the US Cloud Act.
Can you unpack that a bit? The U.S. Cloud Act, what does that mean for someone hosting their data in the UK?
Yeah. So the U.S. Cloud Act essentially allows U.S. law enforcement agencies to request data from U.S. companies, regardless of where that data is physically stored.
Okay.
So let's say you're a UK business hosting sensitive customer data in the U.S.
Right.
Under the Cloud Act, your data could be subject to U.S. legal requests, even though it's outside of U.S. jurisdiction.
That's a bit of an eye-opener. So choosing to host with OVH Cloud's UK VPS adds an extra layer of protection, ensuring your data falls under UK jurisdiction.
Exactly. You're choosing where your data resides and what legal framework governs it, which is a big deal in today's digital landscape.
Yeah.
OVH Cloud seems to be really emphasizing that peace of mind and control for their UK users.
Okay, that's good to know. But let's get back to the technical side for a second. One thing that often trips people up is the difference between VPS and a dedicated server. When does it make sense to make that jump to a dedicated server? At what point have you outgrown your VPS?
That's a common question, and it really comes down to resource needs and technical expertise. VPS is powerful and flexible, but there comes a point where even the most robust VPS might not cut it.
So we're talking massive e-commerce platforms, applications handling incredibly complex calculations, or situations where you need granular control over every aspect of the server, hardware, and software.
You got it. It's like needing to build a custom house because no existing property meets your very specific requirements.
Yeah.
For most users, especially those transitioning from shared hosting, VPS offers more than enough power and flexibility.
That's reassuring. And with OVH Cloud's emphasis on scalability, you can always start with a basic VPS configuration and upgrade as your needs grow. It's not an all-or-nothing situation.
Precisely. OVH Cloud seems to be positioning their VPS offering as a solution that grows with you, providing that smooth transition as your online presence expands.
So it sounds like VPS offers a lot of flexibility and scalability, which is perfect for businesses or projects with big aspirations.
Right.
Speaking of which, OVH Cloud mentions a few interesting use cases in their materials, things like hosting game servers or managing multiple websites.
Okay.
What are some of the specific advantages of VPS in those scenarios?
Those are great examples. Take a Minecraft server, for instance. It requires a lot of resources, especially if you have a large community of players or you're running complex mods.
Right.
With VPS, you have the dedicated resources and processing power to keep the game running smoothly, even during peak hours.
It's like having a server that's always ready for a raid, even if it's just a bunch of friends trying to build the most epic digital fortress imaginable. But what about something like a multi-site WordPress setup?
Right.
How does VPS benefit someone managing multiple websites?
So with a multi-site WordPress setup, you're essentially running several different websites from a single WordPress installation. This can be much more efficient than managing separate hosting accounts for each site. And VPS provides the resources and flexibility to handle it seamlessly. You get the benefits of centralized management without sacrificing performance.
So it's like having a central hub for all your online properties, making it easier to manage updates, security, and everything else that comes with running multiple websites.
That's a great way to put it. And because you have root access with VPS, you have more control over the server environment,
Right.
which is crucial for optimizing WordPress performance and security.
OVH Cloud also mentions using VPS for a sandbox environment. What does that mean? And why is it relevant to someone considering VPS?
Yeah, so a sandbox environment is essentially a safe and isolated space where developers can test code, experiment with new configurations, or try out new software without risking any damage to their live website or application.
So it's like having a digital testing lab where you can tinker with things without worrying about breaking your entire website.
Exactly. It's an essential part of the development process, allowing for experimentation and innovation without the fear of crashing your entire system. And VPS provides an affordable and flexible way to set up a dedicated sandbox environment.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked: bandwidth. OVH Cloud boasts unlimited bandwidth up to 2 gigabits with their VPS offerings.
Right.
Can you break that down for us? What does that actually mean for the average user, and why should they care about bandwidth?
Bandwidth is essentially the amount of data that can be transferred between your server and your user's devices at any given time. Think of it like a highway. The wider the highway, more bandwidth, the more cars' data can travel on it simultaneously without creating a traffic jam, slow loading times.
So 2 gigabits per second is like having a super highway for your website's data.
Precisely. It means your website or application can handle a lot of traffic and data requests simultaneously without slowing down. This is crucial for a smooth user experience, especially for websites with lots of images, videos, or downloads.
And that ties back to what we were discussing earlier about handling traffic spikes and ensuring your website stays up and running even when things get busy.
Exactly. OVH Cloud seems to understand the importance of reliable performance and is putting a strong emphasis on providing the bandwidth necessary to handle demanding web projects.
Okay, so we've talked about the technical advantages of VPS, but what about the practical side of things? OVH Cloud mentions some additional features like anti-DDoS protection and automatic backups.
Right.
Can you elaborate on those and why they matter?
Absolutely. Anti-DDoS protection is crucial in today's digital landscape. DDoS attacks are becoming increasingly common, and they can cripple a website or online service.
For those who aren't familiar, can you quickly explain what a DDoS attack is?
Yeah, essentially a DDoS attack is like a digital traffic jam on steroids.
Okay.
Imagine thousands of cars suddenly trying to access the same small road.
Yeah.
It creates a massive bottleneck, and legitimate traffic can't get through. That's what a DDoS attack does to a website.
So it's like having a security guard for your website, fending off those malicious attacks and ensuring your site stays accessible to legitimate users.
That's a great way to put it. OVH Cloud includes anti-DDoS protection as standard with their VPS offerings, which is a huge plus. They also offer automatic backups and snapshots, which are essential for data security and disaster recovery.
So if something goes wrong, you have a safety net.
Exactly. Automatic backups create regular copies of your data, so if your server experiences a hardware failure, a software issue, or even an accidental deletion, you can restore your data from a previous backup. It's like having a rewind button for your website.
That's incredibly valuable. It seems like OVH Cloud is really trying to address a lot of the concerns someone might have when considering VPS security, reliability, data protection. They've got you covered. It sounds like OVH Cloud has really thought of everything to make VPS accessible and worry-free.
Right.
Speaking of accessible, they also compare VPS to their Plesk web hosting. For someone trying to decide between those two, what are the key differences?
That's a great point. Think of Plesk web hosting as a more streamlined, managed experience.
Oh.
OVH Cloud pre-installs Plesk, a popular hosting control panel, on your space.
Right.
It's user-friendly, especially for those primarily focused on website management.
Okay.
However, you don't have the same level of server control as you do with VPS.
So with Plesk web hosting, you're trading off some server control for ease of use. It's like having a website management tool already set up and ready to go.
Exactly. VPS, on the other hand, gives you the keys to the server.
Right.
You have root access, which offers maximum flexibility for customization and configuration.
Okay.
But it also means you're responsible for more of the technical management.
It sounds like choosing between Plesk web hosting and VPS boils down to your comfort level with server management and how much control you need over your hosting environment.
That's a great way to summarize it. It's all about finding the right tool for your specific needs and technical expertise.
Right.
And the good news is OVH Cloud offers both, allowing you to choose the best fit for your current situation and potentially upgrade as your needs evolve.
That's reassuring. It sounds like OVH Cloud has a solution for everyone, from beginners to seasoned developers. As we wrap up our deep dive into the world of VPS, what are some key takeaways you hope our listeners walk away with today?
Firstly, VPS is a powerful and versatile solution that can benefit a wide range of users, from growing businesses to independent developers.
Right.
Don't be intimidated by the technical aspects. There are tons of resources and support systems available to guide you, and the benefits, increased control, flexibility, and performance are well worth the learning curve.
I completely agree. And what I found particularly impressive about OVH Cloud's offering is their emphasis on data security and sovereignty, especially for UK users.
Right.
They've clearly made data protection a priority, which is incredibly important in today's digital landscape.
Absolutely. And with their competitive pricing, scalable solutions, and robust infrastructure, OVH Cloud makes it easier than ever to explore the possibilities of VPS.
If you've been on the fence about VPS, I hope this deep dive has given you the information and confidence to take the next step. Imagine having a website that's lightning fast, incredibly secure, and can handle anything you throw at it. What could you achieve? What doors would that open for your online projects? It's an exciting thought.
It is. And for anyone ready to explore those possibilities, I highly recommend checking out OVH Cloud's website.
Okay.
They have a ton of information about their VPS offerings, pricing, and even a handy configurator to help you build the perfect VPS for your needs.
Consider this your official invitation to dive in and discover the power of VPS. Till next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible online.